I'm Shane.
I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
Welcome back. Got another one for you guys. I hope you're excited.
We'll go ahead and we'll kick things off with our socials like we always do.
So you guys know how to find us and talk to us.
That's right. And the very first one is always Facebook. That's going to be facebook.com/Kentucky Fried Critics. If you are a fan who does use Facebook, you've probably seen our last episode.
We got some cool
on
posts.
SLC Punk. We got some cool shout outs. We got a little bit of notice from somebody who was connected to the movie.
More than connected, I would think.
Yeah, definitely more than connected. I'm just trying to play it down because I'm so hype about this. I'm so hyped about this.
Be hype. It's fine.
The writer-director of the movie, James Marandino, he definitely shouted out. And we also had a page that runs one of his movie Facebook pages, his second, the sequel to
the one we did.
I was fanboying quite excitedly, obviously.
As you should, man. That's a huge deal.
I don't really know what's going to happen from that.
Yeah, dude, I was stoked. I didn't know how to react to it.
Again, that movie meant a lot to me growing up, as I said. Inspired both a lot of how I behaved as a person and, again, outward appearances for things.
The definite fashion choices were taken from this movie.
100%.
It's cool. I ripped off Ozzy Osbourne. We all do it.
So it's very surreal. It's very cool. There is maybe talks of him getting in touch with us to do something. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it a whole lot. I mean, it was all on social media. I mean, don't be wrong. You all can go look and see what was said if you really want to track down. It's all on actual comments and it's all public. Yeah, it wasn't private messaged anything, but I'm just too excited to jinx it by talking about it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
It's one of those yeah. If I tell anyone, now it's not going to happen. Right?
Yeah. So I just can't talk about it.
I'm that way too. It's like, no, if I say something, it'll go away.
I don't have a lot of superstitions I believe in, but that is
definitely one. Yeah, me too.
So I won't say anymore. I'll leave Facebook alone at that. But we've definitely been on a wild ride.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Hello, new listeners. If you found us because of that.
Found us because of that, hi, welcome.
We'll move on from Facebook. We also have an Instagram. So if you found us that way and you have an Instagram, you didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can go at us on that one too.
Check that out. It's just going to be at Kentucky Fried Critics. That's just the handle there. From there, we usually go on to YouTube. YouTube's still going to be, again, right now, especially with more people finding us, we shouldn't change it yet. All of our things still have hyperlinks to this. I still want to change it.
I will.
I want it to be. Well, no. I'm not going to say it's okay. It's not going to stay. Don't make concessions. Now just might not
stand our ground on it.
Yeah. Now just might not be the time because if people are trying to find old videos right now.
Hold for now.
Hoping that more people are finding us because of it. So we got to wait just a moment. But yeah, we are hoping to change it, but right now YouTube is just at KF Critics or KFC Critics.
It's more fun to say it that way.
Again, while we have to keep it, that's the way we should say it.
Yeah, KFC
We'll probably
Critics.
stop. You'll stop hearing us say KF Critics and just hear us say KFC Critics. We are going to be trying to get it where it is either
Kentucky
spelled out
Fried
the way
Critics.
the way the other ones are, or hyphenated like the next one is.
Squee.
Yeah, and so that leads us to our next one, Bo's favorite, our hosts at Acast. They provide us a website. The website is going to be shows.acast.com/Kentucky-fried-critics. Now you can say what you want. I saw you trying to cut me off, and I was like, dude, you just can't ever stop. You're too excited.
The hyphens, man, I need them. They cleanse the soul of all evil. If you people would just accept this.
Until you want to do the full social roll call, you got to start chill until I can say the hyphens myself. You can let
I will allow you to say the hymn of the hyphen.
You can let all your glee out after I say it, but you have to let me say it. That's the only thing that I require.
All right.
Is to let me say it first.
That's fair, I guess. Gee.
And then of course, after the website, that just leaves the true original social.
Yeah, the OG.
The email. So if you want to get in touch,
does anybody do it? They should. This is where
we get emails. We get a few.
Give us ideas.
They're not always great ideas. I'm not saying bad. Nobody's idea is bad.
No, there's no such thing. Just hard to enact.
Sometimes,
I guess.
Sometimes we get suggestions for things that are outside the realms of just like an idea for an episode. It's hard
like something's like, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, I don't know what to do with that.
You take that idea and you go do a podcast with it.
I love that for you.
Right? It's a good idea.
We've found what we do. And we kind of like what we do. I like that you like hearing us and you want to know our opinion on some of these things that are not what we've ever talked about. Right, so it makes it even weirder that you want to hear us talk about it.
But it's fine.
But yeah, we do get some emails. They're just I'd like to get some more that are maybe
try
actually
this
like
beer.
Try this beer. Here's a movie. Because again, we've said that it's kind of hard to do it some ways than others. Yeah. But if you give it to us, we can try.
What we're wanting to happen is in the email, some random person's beer is going to match with some random person's
Wouldn't that
movie,
be the thing? And
right?
again, we would tell you. I would 100%. We would shout out both of you, and we would be like, "You guys didn't even know, but you gave us the perfect.
This is your pick, you guys. Yeah. Like this is your guys' episode.
Total fan from the top down. Right? That would be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I'd love that.
So yeah, guys, email us.
Yeah, email.
Send us a message on Instagram, on Facebook.
Something.
Again, just don't do it in the public forum.
Yeah, don't comment
it to us.
Private
Make sure if you want to do one of the idea, you want to message that to us.
Privately, quietly, under the table.
But I think that wraps up all the socials we usually try to get at, right?
Yeah.
That's everything that we have.
I think that's it. Is there any more? Did they come up with a new one in the 10 minutes we've been in here?
Not that we have. All right. So, Bo, what are we drinking this week?
We are drinking Founders Brewing Company's Breakfast Stout, and it is breakfasty. I gotta say that. What movie could have breakfast in it? Breakfast at Tiffany's? No, not that one. Too old. Don't want to do that one. My sister hates that movie anyway.
It's not as good as people like to talk about.
It's really not. I'm gonna go with Breakfast Club.
I think you're right. I think
that's a good one.
Club.
You're gonna go with the Breakfast movie? Gotta be Breakfast Club.
So again, that's the movie. But again, before we actually start the beer, we usually say maybe a little bit more about it, and I want to go back to this because we've both said we have a preference for dark beers. Yeah. To start with,
stouts and
when I tell you that this is black,
it is black.
It is in this glass, and I mean black
coffee.
Like you look at the top down,
you can't see anything.
I can't find an angle almost at which I can see through it.
Nothing. Even if you hold it up to the light, you can't even see the light through it. It's so dark. I'm so happy.
It's so good.
We've had so many light IPAs, like bright IPAs on this show, and I'm over here. I'm like, oh my god, it looks like a cup of coffee.
This is dark. It's just thick enough, right? Like it's thick enough that it really,
you're drinking something.
It's good.
It is so good.
The description for the beer, as they say, again, you know us. We'll give you more at the end after we've already had a couple
of them.
But for right now, their description is that it's a double chocolate coffee oatmeal stout. So it's going to give us roasted coffee and an extra hit of sweet and decadence. Yes. I love that that's the word they use.
Sweet and decadent, and I agree.
But other than that's all we'll give you on the beer for right now. We'll get on into the movie.
Yay, movie.
We'll spend a little bit of time before we get started. As some of the people who've been listening for a long time maybe know, we're getting a little bit better at being relaxed and just
speaking riffing, like people.
Well, and riffing on our own thoughts while keeping up with the movie. We do apologize if you watched a lot of the early ones. We said it
by scene,
and we said it ourselves.
Yeah,
we definitely used it as a crutch for some of the beginning. Yeah, because we were still trying to figure out
what we were doing.
We're getting a lot better. Obviously, we'll go over who's in the movie like we always do, but I just figure we don't need a whole lot of riffing about like talking about what this. Most people, I feel like, already know. You know, it's the Breakfast Club.
You've seen it.
Not only have you seen it,
clips.
You've seen reference. You've seen other movies that are doing the same story.
Same thing.
You've seen TV shows. Dawson's Creek has the best one. Their version of this because it's almost exact too. Like their Breakfast Club is the Breakfast Club. Because it's literally all of them on Saturday Detention. Most stereotype characters are there. Like, it's good. But my point just is, it's everywhere. people do this. This is a story,
hugely referenced story.
Yeah. Well, and it's like thematically, right? Like it's the kind of themes that you do. Like this whole like none of us like each other, but by the end we're going to realize we got a lot more in common.
We're all not that different.
And this came out in the 80s, right?
85.
Enemy Mine. Isn't that the same one? You know, enemy/mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's the same idea, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing, actually. Yeah. Just in a high school library.
Yeah. So again, you can take your pick. You like sci-fi or you like John Hughes teen movies.
Can I get a John Hughes sci-fi movie?
No. But this is the closest we can get because this is the same storyline.
Yeah. All right, I'll take it. That would have been cool, though. He should have done a sci-fi movie.
But you know, it's the idea that these kids think they don't like each other, but they just don't realize how much they share.
They have in common.
Takes some of them a lot longer to get there. Hell, in this movie, sometimes I don't actually feel like they got there, and they just kind of say they do.
Because the story says we have to be. It's like we're friends now because plot.
Oh, the movie's ending.
Right. We got 5 minutes left.
Because this is definitely in the era of like you need to wrap it up in a 90, and this was still like an hour 40, so it went.
Yeah, it went over.
It went over the 90 magic.
Oh, right? They probably got in trouble for that too.
Well, and this is John Hughes. That man usually doesn't do that. I mean, he tells a
good
pretty like concise. Right, Dutch was like a 90.
Yeah, it was a 90-minute.
That was he wrote that one.
It was hour and 27 minutes. Actually,
so maybe he directed this one, and maybe he's not as good at making those scenes end as he is at writing the scene.
He's
concisely.
like, I want to keep going.
Yeah, he can write it concisely, but he can't like visualize it concisely.
I can see that. There's a few scenes where I felt like this goes a little long.
We've already mentioned this is John Hughes. We've definitely spent some time when we talked about Dutch saying we love John Hughes.
Yep.
We grew up again when you're our age.
You kind of grew up on these.
When you're elder to like mid-aged millennial, it's the kind of thing that was always around. It's not even like TV. You tried to find it. It was just there.
You'd be flipping channels.
And since we were a generation where pop culture became just more prevalent in general, we were around where trivia was always being, the trivia shows were constantly. And so since the 80s just happened, they were generally questions about things from the 80s. And so like it was just these type of things were inundated in our head.
It was brainwashed, man. We just held down, watch Breakfast Club.
Because Goonies. Again, for sure. Well, the Goonies, that one came out early enough in the 80s, and 80s kids movies would stick. Kids movies have a different rule than like adult movies, right? Like kids movies stick around for a lot more years before they die off in relevance.
Until they just get like overly racist or something.
Yeah. And so their relevance stays important a lot longer for kids. So like that one's a little bit different. But like this, for instance, like again, like this was made for teenagers in the 80s, and I was certainly a child.
Yeah, I was a 5-year-old in the 90s.
Yeah, this movie came out in 85. I was 1 years old when this movie came out. At no point was this supposed to be something that I was genuinely supposed to have a thought or care about. Yeah, but I do.
Yeah.
Testament to John Hughes.
For real.
That being said, some of the writing a few times in this movie, and we'll address it while we get there, uncomfortable.
Yeah. Product of its time. One of those deals.
Well, and again, he just maybe should have had someone help him write some of the scenes, because he just
talk to a teenager.
Yeah,
a real one.
His grasp on like
he has kids.
What some of these scenes were. Yeah. And again, we'll go ahead and just mention it. It's when he feels the need to put in sexual tension. And again, I'm not trying to pretend like we don't see things today that are way more like pushing the boundaries.
Right.
But they at least feel more real. It feels like maybe again the person who wrote it was close enough to still being a teenager that their memory of it is very clear, or they talk to teenagers while writing it for reference.
Yeah, John Hughes was like, what, 35,
and
40?
You can tell he was too disconnected. Like his view of this stuff just seems
comes across the borderline harassment.
Yeah, like I was like, man, I don't know. This is just weird.
This is not stuff you should be saying. That's all I'm saying.
That being said, those aren't this movie is full of fun stuff, and I don't really, like, I don't walk away remembering most of that. If I weren't watching the movie for the way we're watching the movie, like taking notes and actually like trying to not analyze, but really pay attention more so than I usually do, I would probably never have noticed how uncomfortable they are. But like really paying attention and like watching it multiple days in a row and shit, I'm like,
yeah, I said that's.
I feel very awkward in a way I can't describe.
This scene makes me not comfortable.
Yeah, right. It's hard to explain, but it's there.
Happens like
there's definitely two or three times. There's definitely two hard times.
Yeah, two hard times I can think of,
and
like
maybe
one more.
Other. Yeah, but we'll get there. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and address who's in the movie. This is really easy, guys. There are definitely
everybody.
Yeah. Well, and there are some side characters, but again, there are only like 8 people that are really on screen.
Yeah, this is a small cast,
right? Like there are our teenagers. There is a teacher and a janitor. Outside of those people, nobody speaks long enough for them to be important to care about.
No, a couple of the parents have like 2 lines.
Like I said, no one speaks long enough for you to care about. And so those are the only ones that we're going to tell you about.
Yeah.
So we'll start.
Just know they have parents. That's it.
So we'll start. We got Brian Johnson. That's Anthony Michael Hall playing him.
The consummate nerd of the 80s.
He was.
King nerd.
But he was until the late 80s, though, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Be Good. You ever seen that one?
No, I've not seen that one.
He's the quarterback. He plays essentially Emilio Estevez's character. He plays Andrew.
Shit, really?
He plays the quarterback. He's about to go to college. He just got a scholarship because of his football skills.
Oh, well, good for him for getting out of that nerd role.
It's got RDJ in it, man. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, fuck.
He's his sidekick character. Anthony Michael Hall is the more important one.
Holy shit.
Now, that being said, I will definitely say you're right. He is the nerd of the 80s. He was in Weird Science.
That's why he got all buff.
He was in Weird Science.
Love that one.
Also with Robert Downey Jr.
Who's he in that one?
He's one of the 2 dick-headed guys that pick on him.
Oh, shit.
He's the shorter one.
I need to watch that movie again. I know Bill Paxton's in it.
Yeah, he's the older brother.
Yeah. Chet.
Next on the list, we got Allison Reynolds. That's Ali Sheedy. Man, we've already mentioned this before. It must be nice when you're an actor and you get to have a name that's like your name. Jeez.
Yeah, because
Yeah, having something that's close to your name has got to just be
super fucking nice.
Yeah, because it just makes it easy. Like, I mean, you're already listening. You're used to hearing like at least that much.
You don't have that embarrassing part where somebody's being like, "Hey, Alan,"
and saying something completely.
Alan,
and it's not, and your name's Tom, and you're
right.
Like, you're just
me. That's my name. Shit.
Oh shit, I forgot. For this scene, my name is that.
My name is Alan. Fuck.
Ali Sheedy, though, I love Ali Sheedy. She's in a.
But we love her.
Ali Sheedy's great. But Cujo, was she?
Cujo? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in Cujo. That movie scared shit out of me.
Yeah. So again, I love Ali Sheedy. She's great, but we just can't spend forever on everyone.
She's the pretty one.
Molly Ringwald.
I'm just saying.
Ouch.
Right. I'm just saying. Ali Sheedy's the pretty one in this movie.
Then we got Molly Ringwald, and she's playing Claire Standish. Again, I'm telling you the last names.
That is the weirdest.
I'm telling you last names. I don't think if they're ever mentioned in the movie. It's not for much. It's for half a second.
Judd Nelson,
Brian Johnson, John Bender.
John Bender.
Yeah, those are the 2. The rest of them, it's not really. They don't focus on it.
Andy calls himself Andrew at one point. So
his real name is Andrew.
Yeah. So,
but that's it.
As far as I know.
You know his last name?
Clark, because it's on his.
Oh, he got it.
It's on his Letterman jacket.
I was gonna say he's the only other character. Again, it's not. I don't know if it's said out loud, but he's the only other character we would know because it's mentioned. Yeah, it's shown.
It's right there.
We skipped ahead.
You thought I wasn't gonna notice. I caught it.
So we skipped ahead there. So we got Emilio Estevez as Andrew Clark. And Emilio. Night at the Roxbury's for everybody. Since that's come out, I can't say Emilio Estevez and not like if not say it out loud. Think it in my head.
Think that in your head. Yeah. Your head start doing the little.
And I love the Mighty Ducks. I grew up with it.
Oh, you can't those movies.
Yeah,
you can't be from the '90s era and not have seen those.
I love. So I just have a fondness. He's like the dad you wanted, but you didn't have.
Yeah.
But you kind of didn't want because he was also kind of a fuck up. Emilio. And then
we love you, man.
Yeah. So then we'll wrap up our teenagers, though. We already mentioned John Bender. He's our other character who we know the full name of and is mentioned again. in opposite of the rest of the teenagers. The rest of the teenagers, we don't know their last name because they're never mentioned. He's a character that you
kind of goes by his last name.
If you didn't know his first name, I would forgive you.
Yeah,
because it's only said once or twice.
One time.
It's definitely not mentioned very often.
No.
And again, I think it's only it's like a slip up. Like one of the characters is saying something about him, and they say John, and I was like,
"Who the fuck are we talking about?"
I was jarring for a second.
I don't know a John. I know Bender.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
Bender's an asshole. Is John cool?
But so that wraps up. That's our teenagers. But before we finish with everybody, like we said, we also have the teacher. That's going to be Richard Vernon is the character name, played by Paul Gleason. He's in everything.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
You might not remember.
We have one of these in every episode. He's that guy.
He's that guy,
right? The cop from Die Hard.
Yeah, you've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Right.
You may not know his name, and he might not play the characters you remember all the time.
But
you know you've seen him.
That fucking guy.
And then lastly, we'll wrap it up with Carl. Carl the janitor.
The wise old janitor. You gotta love a wise old janitor, man.
Carl's played by John Kapelos. All right. Well, that's everybody I'm mentioning.
Yeah. Stellar cast. Fantastic.
Unlike Dutch, this one is written and directed, as we already mentioned, by John Hughes. Just, again, since we're already on cast, before we jump out of the world of not being in the movie.
The credits.
Yeah.
Basically is what we're doing here.
This is a fully John Hughes production.
Yeah, he did all of it. He even popped the popcorn.
Probably.
He's just at the opening, just over there, just popping the
craft
popcorn.
Services.
Yeah, he's just like, I hope you like my movie, guys. Here's your popcorn and sodas.
Going from there, we can definitely just start. I think we've beaten this even after we said
we've teased him enough.
And we said we probably wouldn't do that much riffing, and we still did it. All right, I'm gonna start this. We got music.
Gotta start with
music, and this time. It's a song.
It is.
It's a real song.
It's a real one. I like this song.
And it's a song that everybody knows because of this movie.
It's the Breakfast Club song.
I don't refer to it as that. But, it is definitely the song. This movie made it.
Yeah.
Famous.
It's the song you think of.
And that's going to be Don't You Forget About Me.
I'll be alone. Dancing, you know it, baby.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
It's by Simple Minds. That's what I was going to say. You didn't even let me say who it was by yet.
I couldn't stop.
You stole their thunder, man.
It's mine now. I own it.
But yeah, that's Simple Minds. They're a Scottish band. Famous for this.
Yeah, for this.
I'll
take it.
I don't know anything else.
If you're not famous.
Do you know who they are?
They're the Breakfast Club band.
Okay, we're going to walk away from you. I already said we shouldn't call the song that. Don't call them that. Come on now.
Yeah, that's
again. I'm not saying it's not true.
That was a joke.
I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm just saying
don't come at me.
Don't say it out loud.
That was a joke.
Again, it is a song that is great though. Like we all know this song. When you hear it,
listen to it without watching the movie, like the actual whole song, and you're like the whole time just like, yeah,
it's good, dude. It's an earworm. It's in your head.
It's a good one.
You want to move. You do. You want an 80s move.
You want to dance. You want to do like the guy said. You want to dance alone.
We get the nice song, and it's a total 80s style intro, though. Like, nothing to do with the movie forever, right? We're just seeing, it's like, some credits and, like, weird, like, like, shots around town.
Here's the outside.
Here's all of a sudden,
trees.
Then all of a sudden, we get the glass shatter transition.
For
no
reason.
What was that? Into the school building.
I don't know.
The glass shatter, and then we see the school finally.
Yeah, it's like
Shermer High School in Shermer, Illinois. It's where all of his movies take place.
Do they really?
Yeah. Do you know why I know this?
No.
God bless you, Kevin Smith.
Yay. Thanks, fat man.
Kevin Smith.
Who's no longer fat.
Yeah, I was about to say, please,
too,
again,
man.
Stop trying to insult him.
That's what he was called in the movie.
In the movies. In Dogma, he makes a point. Because those two, that's what they're doing in Dogma, right? Like, you remember in the beginning, Jay and Silent Bob are traveling?
Yeah. Is that why they're there?
That's why they were in Illinois. They were looking for Shermer, Illinois.
That's funny.
Because all of John Hughes. It's because Jay wanted to sell weed there because he figured it looked like the kind of place nobody was already doing
weed.
He was going to corner the market.
Yeah, he's going to have monopoly.
Yeah, that is the reason.
That's a great way to know why that is.
Yeah, it's because of that. Shermer, Illinois.
That's fantastic.
Shermer,
Illinois. If you actually live there, give us a shout out.
I don't think it's a real place.
Yes, it is. Killing my dreams, man.
We also, as we roll in, we also we hear, right? It's not shown on screen, but we hear. He tells us it's Saturday, March 24th.
Yeah,
1984.
Yeah, we've all seen it. He's doing basically end of the movie, he's reading the thing.
And so the first thing is
the essay.
You guys all remember being in school, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing you do on most assignments, right? You got it up in the corner.
Up in the corner, you put the date, then your name.
And so he was reading the date, and it's in Brian's voice.
Yeah,
it's Anthony Michael Hall reading this letter.
Anthony Michael Nerd, whatever you want to call him.
But so we know the date again. So not only did the movie come out before, the movie is set before, because again the '80s has a weird thing. A lot of movies come out even if it's only like 2 years, they'll be set later than what they were made,
like filmed in.
Yeah, not this one. So this time, everything about this movie is before I was born. For something that's so prevalent for my childhood. Right. As we hear the voiceover wrapping up, we see everybody getting dropped off to the school.
Yep.
Again, we're not spoiling anything. We'll go ahead and just say, because it takes a good 10 minutes before, as a viewer, you know what the hell they're doing.
They go through like each person.
Because you can tell it's not normal day of school.
No, they're just showing up for detention.
Exactly. But it takes a while.
We've all done it.
And it takes a while before we know that, though. You know what I mean? Like, as the viewer, like, they don't tell us right away.
I don't think you actually know it until Claire's dad says something about, like, it's not, you're not.
It's just attention.
It's not that bad. You were just, like, shopping. Mom.
Yeah. But it takes way too long for us to know it's attention. Because at first you're just like, why are we only seeing 5 kids? 5 kids?
There's a bunch of cars in a parking lot.
Knowing why, it's not as bad, but just staring at it, thinking about it from that perspective of like not knowing, like coming in being someone who didn't know that this was just about them, like you would definitely be like, what's going on?
Right? What are we doing here?
Why are so few people here?
Why are there a bunch of cars?
But
it's cold outside.
Even in the beginning, though, John Hughes sets up perfectly, just visually, like the differences we get with each of the teenagers, right? Yeah. Like you can tell, like they do all have problems with their parents. They don't notice or think about that,
right?
But they all are different types of problems, right? Like we see Brian, slightly uncaring mom. I don't know.
She's like you got to find a way to study. Right. I don't care if you have detention. You're going to use that time to study French or whatever.
Yeah, right. Like so, she totally does not care.
Doesn't care that he's in detention as long as he keeps doing
it's all about schoolwork.
Yeah.
And again, like that's really messed up because
later.
Yeah, when we address like the whole reason
he's fucking there.
And again, this isn't because of spoilers, this is because it really kind of just messes up the flow of the movie if we were to start talking about that.
Yeah.
And that's with all the kids. It kind of just slowly unfurls with each of them. We don't know why any of them are in detention until they slowly talk to each other. But we do get these little pieces. We see that his mom is weird, like neglectful, over caring. You know what I mean? Like it's because they're caring about the wrong parts.
Right. It's like I care.
They don't care about you as a person.
Card. I don't care about your mental state.
They don't care about you as a person. They care about like they're just fixated on like the future you can have, but not the kid you are.
Right. They don't care about you right now. What's important is going to college and getting good grades and getting a good job and doing all this stuff. And if you don't, I will murder you.
And we see Claire again. She gets dropped off. Her dad, very much, you can tell from the first scene, you would think that her parents are already divorced. Later, they throw out the fact that it's not divorced yet, but obviously on the road to divorce.
Yeah, it's going to happen soon.
Yeah,
because they're
but you can
playing
tell
off each other.
It's super horrible to the point to where like it's one of those like she probably got in trouble as a cry for help and he still didn't care, right? Like he's literally just being like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that you're here. Don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't think about it twice. It's not a big deal. Because don't let your mom tell you should.
Because it'll piss your mom off if I tell you this, and that's what I'm going for.
We see Allison get dropped off,
and she goes to wave to the window, and they just drive off. I was like, "What the fuck? That's
almost hit Bender, right? Aren't they the ones that almost hit Bender?
Yeah, they almost hit him.
Yeah. So and that
he
gives
just
us
walks up.
That's our setup for Bender is that again, as we find out through stories of his, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
They can give 2 shits less about Bender and what's going on with Bender. Is that all the kids? Did I just hit all the kids?
Yeah, that's all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, no. We almost forgot.
Emilio!
Andrew gets dropped off. His dad is... Again, at first you feel like this is good.
Yeah.
You feel like this is wholesome.
Yeah, because he's like, it's all right, kids screw around.
I got in trouble when I was... So at first you're like, oh, right.
You know,
someone has to have the...
Do your time so you can keep wrestling so you don't lose your scholarship.
Then we start to hear the catch, right? We hear the catch. The catch is he doesn't... Again...
You're that dad.
He's kind of like Brian's parents... It's just
only
a different thing. It's for sports and
grades.
Don't let this fuck up your
gotta
path.
win.
You've got a path.
Win.
You've got a path that I have for you. You can't fuck up my path for you.
This is how you're going to make it. Yeah. And then when you're 60 and can't wrestle anymore, what are you going to do then?
Well, especially because that kind of wrestling.
Well, I mean, 60 that's if he goes into professional wrestling, like that kind of wrestling.
Yeah,
like 25.
Yeah, because again, if you're not doing like a Olympics,
go to the WWE. That's my best advice.
Theatrics. You want the theatrics.
You want and you it still hurts, but you're going to work a lot longer.
The theatrics are going to get you further.
Yeah, especially if you can talk.
Yeah.
If you
again, it's not that you won't get hurt.
No, it just.
But the grapple, like Greco-Roman wrestling is a lot of like low to the ground grappling where things can break.
Yeah,
snap.
Professional wrestling is a lot of like, I'm going to put you in a hold, and I'm not going to choke you to death, but you're gonna know that I have a hold of your head. So it's gonna hurt.
There's a little bit of a difference.
I'm trying to forcefully hold your skull and not rip it off. That's professional wrestling.
But so we can see that his dad though is definitely not. Again, it starts off you've got hope. And it's like, probably because
he's cool,
you see so many other ones,
and then within like 30 seconds you're like, oh, never mind.
I was wrong.
You're that dad. Never okay. And how dare you get second place out of the entire country? He'd be that dad. Yeah. Like, you won silver at the Olympics. You failed.
And so then we get inside. And we get our first introduction to Mr. Vernon.
Dick Vernon.
Richard Vernon.
Richard Vernon. Sorry, I shouldn't call him Dick. That's mean.
But yeah, so we see right away, it sets up both that he is the shitty thinks he's cool teacher,
but
right?
Isn't.
Like you can tell he thinks he's saying some stuff that people are gonna be like, yeah, and nobody does. So it already sets up for us a little bit of his personality. We can tell Bender is
frequently here
and a problem maker.
And a problem, a trouble. He's a troublemaker. I may have looked up to Bender a little too much when I was younger.
Bender is just the troublemaker. He's always in trouble. He's gonna and not just troublemaker. He's the Illinois punk. Right?
Yeah, he's gonna talk shit.
Because this is 85, but it's set in 84.
Yeah.
The last movie we had was definitely set in 85.
Yeah.
He is the punk. It's just Illinois. He's just not listening to punk music.
There's even fewer of him now.
And so the personality is the same type of personality. Right? Like he's obviously a little bit younger because they were in their 20s. But so that's Bender. And so he's just
Bender's
always
cool.
here.
I like Bender.
Always getting in his shit. And we see that right away. Gets himself two more
days.
Count 2. Mess with the bull.
You get the horns.
The rest of the movie, this man talks
with the horns every time he points.
And I don't know if that's to imply
he is merely trying to dispel evil spirits.
I don't know if that's trying to imply that that's how he talked all the time, or if he just Bender got so into his head in the morning that now because of that, that's just how he's talking that day.
Stuck.
Because again, we only see this one day, so we have nothing else to go on. But we definitely know for this day that teacher talks with the horns.
Right.
All day long, just constantly.
Little Dio.
Yeah, you'll see that. Whole movie. Again, I don't think he gets the irony.
He does. He even does it when later when he's threatening to beat Bender's ass in the closet. He's just you a tough guy and shit all the time with the horns.
I don't know where they came from, but this man loves them. He leans into it
hard. He flipped past MTV, saw a Ronnie James Dio video, and was like, well, that's neat. Maybe that'll connect me with the children's.
As we can see, this is their day. They're in detention.
Yep.
They're going to be in the library all day.
This is a sweet library, though.
He tells them they're going nowhere.
And they're going to write an essay on
1,000 words.
Who you think you are.
And that's 1,000 different words.
Not the same word written over and over again, which I have. I tried that once. It didn't work.
Everybody's got to have their own. What's the subject again?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are as a person?
Who am I? Who am I? I am a walrus. Sorry, that's what Brian's doing when he's thinking about it.
But so it's one of those, they love to ask you that in school, but really it's such a stupid thing.
It's a time waster. It's just something to make you waste time.
You are whoever the fuck you want to be. You don't need to worry about being able to tell people.
When I was in high school, I could have answered it in a half a sentence. I have no idea.
And to me, that's fair.
Right. I'm 35 and I'm still I have no idea.
It's legitimate.
I can answer with clarity. I like beer. That's about it. That's the only definite.
He tells them he's going to leave them in there. He's going to prop the door. And then he does. He just leaves them on there.
Yeah, he leaves them. The door's propped open. He seems kind of like lean.
And we see.
And look.
And again, like this library is big.
It's huge.
It's deafening in there, though, right? Like, because they're the only people. There's no one else. There's no other sound. You can literally hear Claire biting her nails. Everybody's just staring at her.
Allison.
Was it Allison?
Yeah, it's Allison. Claire's Molly Ringwald.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I didn't write which one.
The cute one. The one that's actually pretty.
That's fine. I just don't remember which one. We don't got to focus on it. It's good.
It sounds like it would hurt her teeth, too.
That's what I was more fixating on the sound and how ridiculous it was than which person it was. That's, again, maybe because I didn't like it because of the sound might be why I didn't pay attention to which one it was. So again, we don't got to fix it. I'm not worried. It's not important. We never talk about it again. No. It was just to address how deafening it was because these kids weren't talking to each other. Again, because that's how awkward it is. Even though they do kind of insinuate later on that magically
the door silences it.
No, that's not even what I'm going to talk about. I was going to say that they do address that maybe later on Andrew and Claire are friends, but right now they act like, again, the whole reason I brought up the nail biting is, again, like I was saying, just to point out how awkward and silent the room is, because they're trying to say nobody knows each other, nobody talks. Yeah. But again, later we find out that those two do.
Yeah, they're at least in
adjacent circles, at least, right? So I don't believe there should have been that big a silence, since we do know that they should have immediately been, at least those two should have been talking, right? Instead, we get this moment where there's the nail biting, and we see Bender look over at her.
They're all doing it. I'm with them too.
Well, but no, Bender looks over at her, and Bender says, though, he goes, "I think I know you," which I was like, what the fuck? This is not, again, it's Shermer, Illinois. Right. This is not a big place. This is not a big town. It's not a big school. Of fucking course you know. You know everybody in that room. You may not talk to them.
I was the reject kid in high school, but I still knew most of the people in high school.
You know them.
Right. Didn't like them. I didn't want to talk to them, but I knew who they were.
I would venture that we are in a town the same size, if not slightly larger than the implication of Shermer, Illinois.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, again, I find it hard to believe that they're all in the same grade.
And don't know but the who implication each other are.
That they don't know each other.
Or at least haven't heard of each other. Yeah, everybody's heard of Bender. He don't count.
Yeah, but again, the rest of them, they kind of, there's like this implication that they don't know who Brian is. And I'm like, no, they may not talk to him.
But you know who the smartest kid is. But when
they were all in the third grade, they also talked to each other because it was before they started clicking out.
Right.
And circling up into different groups.
No, definitely grade school. Right. You all knew each other.
And so again, it's like, I call bullshit right now. You guys know each other.
Right.
Yeah, this school is not big enough for it to have been an issue that they don't know each other.
Yeah, they don't know each other.
That's 100% though. Like when Bender looks at her and says that, I was like, stop.
I know you, man.
Stop, Bender.
Maybe if he was like really high. I know you, man. Right?
And we see, we cut across, we see all of them, just the dumb stuff they're doing right now, right? Like they're just kind of bored.
My favorite
Anthony Michael Hall and the pencil in his mouth.
Trying to figure out who he is. I have a wallet.
He's just like flipping it around.
My favorite's Emilio with his hoodies and he's like moving the strings. Like,
what do you have next? My next one, I didn't write enough about exactly what was going on. All I say is Bender pushing boundaries with the sexual innuendos.
I mean, Bender goes to pee on the floor and Andy's like, don't do that. And then he starts in on Claire and being like, fucking with her.
That's the part I was gonna say, and this is one of the that's what, again, like that's why it's in my notes that way, is because again this is the first
it's
of
a little predatory.
Well, this is the first of those scenes where I was like, John Hughes doesn't understand that this is uncomfortable. Yeah. This is not flirty teenager. No, it's not. This is uncomfortable.
Sexy bad boy.
Yeah, like 100%.
This is like
I didn't feel anything but uncomfortable.
Let's not.
Yeah, like I was like, and I don't feel like this is for the times either. Like I feel like even at the time.
Did you think it played different in the 80s?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think it played just as uncomfortable. Well, I don't know about the creepy, but definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely creepy, and it feels that way. But the creepiness may not have been there, you know, like in the 80s, because so many things made it seem like it was okay.
Yeah.
Still uncomfortable, though. It was uncomfortable. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
Nothing about the scene felt right.
No, I didn't like it at all. But Bender wants to shut the door, and they're all like, no, don't do it. And he goes up and he pulls the fucking screw and shit, and the door slams shut. Because as soon as it shuts, the principal's like, who the teacher did that? Is he not the principal?
I'm pretty sure he's just a teacher.
Is he just a teacher?
The janitor talks to him like he's just a teacher.
Oh, shit.
Well, again, if he's the principal, what files would he not be allowed to look at inside the building?
That's a fair point. I always thought he was the principal. Huh. Well, teacher's just like, what the fuck is that? And goes to try and get the door open. He goes and puts a chair in front of it.
No, dude. And Bender tells him,
that's not gonna work, man.
Bender tells him right away.
And it
Bad call.
flings that fucking chair across the room.
Somebody like this. There's no way that was even natural.
Right.
Somebody was on the
effects
outside.
department.
Well, not even effects, dude. It was simple. Somebody was just on the outside pushing it.
Slammed
it's
it
like
as hard as
literally
they could.
like they were standing both hands on, feet ready, and threw that fucking door shut. That chair was halfway outside of the
Right.
city limits of Shermer, Illinois.
Right, it went through the window, across the street, into the football field. That chair is fucking gone.
So then next he has the bright idea.
They've put in the like card catalog thing.
No, it was a magazine rack. It's a metal magazine rack. Some of them, I had some classrooms that still had these in our high school. The art room had one for book, like
art books.
Yeah,
or
things
whatever
that were in it. And so like I definitely know it could have propped a door open for sure. But just like we see in the scene, you would not be able to get in and out of the door.
Well, Andy, whatever, he almost falls on his ass trying to get back through the door.
I love it because we get Bender calls him on it immediately.
Right. That's a fire hazard, sir.
But the part that makes this even funnier, though, it wasn't the Bender. Bender is who they wanted to be the funny part of this moment.
Right.
But to me, Anthony Michael Hall with Brian with the fingers exactly like a flight attendant.
Stewardess?
Like flight attendant.
Flight attendant. I am so fucking sorry. I'm from the 60s. It's a flight
you
attendant.
are. Dude, we're not Austin Powers here. But yeah, the flight attendant pulls out the fingers.
He's like, well, there's actually exits in the sides and back of the library.
I died every time I watch this movie when he pulls out the flight attendant fingers for the exits.
Right.
To me, way funnier than the Bender line. I love it. Like
to their credit, like no one rats Bender out for
none of the times.
None of them.
Any time. And that's what I was going to say. Goes to prove just how disconnected this teacher thinks he's the cool guy. He thinks the people are going to tell him stuff. Not even in the beginning when they don't like each other.
Right.
When they don't like each other, they still are not telling
them.
them. Yeah. So he is 100% just like never going to be okay. They will not rat on Bender. They don't tell for the screw. I love that he mentions it's a screw. He's like, well, who took the screw? And, like it gets so crazy. He asks everybody. He asks everybody,
who would steal a screw, sir?
He asks like everybody individually.
I love Ali Sheedy's reaction. He's just like, what about you? And she just goes, ah, and smashes her face.
She is always outrageous, dude.
Well, for the first half of the movie, she just responds and squeaks to things. Like it's not till like 45 minutes till she actually says something.
She's supposed to be like a brooding artist. The 80s interpretation of an artist and like the 90s interpretation of an artist in high school are vastly different.
Yeah, because the artists in my high school were very loud.
Yeah, no, not quiet, not separated from everybody.
You knew who they were.
This is so strange to me. Like the vibe that the difference in a decade of how you're going to, the stereotypical version of this person is so different. Poor Vernon has no choice. He has to let the door be shut.
He's got to let
the kids be in there.
He tries to blame the magazine rack on Andy. He's like, get this out of here. What are you doing? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, it's not his idea. Yeah, no, it made it seem like it was his idea.
Like, I thought.
Why would you think that was a good idea? I would have thought
better of a varsity letterman like you. And it's like, go fuck yourself, dick. But then everything just kind of calms. Like we got Bender. I love this shit. He lights his boot on fire to light a cigarette, and then he starts playing like fake guitar.
Yeah. Oh,
and shit. And he's tuning it.
It's the second board scene.
Yeah. They're like, and everybody kind of slowly falls the fuck asleep.
Yeah. Like they're all super bored. Which again, you remember being in school. This is true.
I was in detention a lot. This is exactly what happened.
Not even detention, like regular classes.
Oh, yeah,
dude. You know what I mean? Like the natural state of the teenage human body is not to be awake at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
No.
You know, like my body today can handle 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, I mean, I'm up at like 5, not a problem. As a teenager, my body wanted to be asleep till noon.
Yep. Deal with it. I'm not
Why
waking
do we
up.
Force?
I slept through most of the beginning of school too.
So it's kind of crazy, but again, we can all relate to this moment where they're just like it's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they're all just like, God,
going
like
down.
fighting their body.
My coffee is wearing off, and the school will not let me have more.
At this point of the morning, we've already seen them psychoanalyze each other a few times, right? Yeah. Anytime they get heated for a moment.
Right.
These like, teenagers.
Well, you're like this.
Yeah, these teenagers like psychoanalyze each other. And it's like, wow. But again, I remember it being like that. I remember people trying to be like, oh, you've got to be like this. And it must be because this.
You do this because you're afraid you won't be accepted.
And it's like, oh man, you guys just need,
and it's like,
right? They just all need to grow up so that way they can understand that the world doesn't exist that way.
Right.
You can't know things about people because of like one behavior trait.
Or how they look, or from an outside looking in what they're doing.
We are all a beautiful, colorful tapestry. We are not shades of black and white. There are many facets to us.
Only shades of gray.
So that's just one of those things that we see a lot throughout the movie. Like anytime the teenagers have a moment, right?
Like, it starts to get like the volume starts to go up, and they immediately just like, I'm going to attack your mental state,
and I'm going to tell you what I think about you, and why you're that way,
and why you're that way, and why you suck. Like Bender, they go after him a lot. It's like you might as well not even exist at this school. Right. If you disappeared, no one would give a shit.
But like specifically during this one, when they're doing their round of psychoanalyzing each other, this is when we get called out the clubs, like what everybody's a member to, right? Like, so we find out in their school they essentially have like a triple hierarchy of clubs. Like you're either, well, I guess it's 4 because you're either not in any kind of club, right? So that's Bender. You're in sports clubs. How weird is it that that's how they refer to that?
You think they got like a fencing club or something?
Well, no, because again, like they're counting him as a wrestler, so they're counting teams. It's teams, but they're calling club. But that's what they're calling it, sports club, because he's a sports clubber.
That's weird.
I agree. But then social clubs,
which is like prom committee and
I guess student council.
Student council, yeah.
How is that still considered a social club? I agree that it is a social contest to win that spot.
Right.
But technically, once you get there, you do have to do things.
Yeah, because you got to like go to meetings and
vote on things. That's the overlap, right? That's the one that we find out both Claire and Andrew are on like the student council together.
Council and shit. That's how they know each other.
But then we find out the other one is the academic clubs, and those don't count.
No, because those aren't real clubs.
Social clubs and sports clubs apparently can interact.
Yeah, but not the academic clubs.
No clubs don't interact with goddamn anybody.
Poor Brian back
apparently
there.
Artists.
They're all having this conversation.
Does their school not have an art club?
I guess not. And if they did, Ali Sheedy would definitely be.
Yeah, Allison would 100% be part of the art club. And which one of these would it fall in? Art club's not an academic club.
It's not a sport, and it is not social.
It is, but not in the way that Claire wanted it to be.
It's arts. I mean, it's its own separate category.
I don't know. But yeah, so we see these clubs, and again, like I said, I just have problems with it. Yeah. I feel like these are maybe names that could have been used in the 50s for social circles, right? Yeah. I don't feel like anybody in the 80s.
John Hughes went to high school in the 50s, so maybe it's transferring.
I don't know if he was that old.
60s, 50s, something like that.
But yeah, it's definitely weird. It's definitely one of those, like, I feel like maybe he should have talked to some more teenagers before he just went ahead and put these words in teenagers' mouths. But during the conversation, we get one of my favorite lines from Brian. He's talking about how they go on parties for the math club, right? We have a big party every year.
You load up, party.
And he's like,
well, we dress up.
We dress up. We don't get high. Yeah. I got a cousin.
One time he got high, and then he started eating like really weird foods and things.
He's never been the same.
He's never been the same. He just kind of like checked out, you know. It's just like, thanks, Poindexter.
I absolutely love when he says that.
I love Judd Nelson's facial expression while he's going, because he's just talking. You're like a mile a minute about it. He's got to get it out, and he's just got this look of like, fucking really on his face.
So this is the moment where they start talking about wrestling specifically, like Bender and Andrew.
Oh yeah,
right. He's like,
I'll just go out and join the wrestling team.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Maybe that would make the difference. He's like, maybe you should. Oh, they wouldn't take you.
Right.
Like he's like, none of them would. And all that's, you know, like that's the scene that happens right there. Like it's just like,
because I have such high respect for dudes who roll around on the ground with other guys.
And that's what I said. I was
underwear.
like, oh my God, when you see that kind of guy. Right. Why would you look at that kind of guy? Why would you look at John Bender and think to yourself, oh, he's going to get offended when I tell him that they wouldn't want him?
Right. He's like, I don't fucking care, man.
Fuck you and your team.
Right. Fuck you and your team. Me and the football team in high school.
During this moment, though, he also calls him out on the tights.
Yeah. He's just like, yeah, you wear tights. He's like, I wear the required uniform.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Before he doesn't say that to Bender when Bender says tights. He says tights and he just goes, no, I don't. And then that's when Brian says, you wear like tights? Questioningly. Yeah, like he's never seen wrestling, right? Like he's never
watched it once.
And he just is like, you wear tights? And he's like, what's the required uniform? And again, I just want to say,
Brian's just wear like tights.
I want to point out that not even just tights, right? They're unitards. Like high school wrestling is it
is called a singlet. I will have you know.
Call it whatever you want. It is definitely a lot more revealing than just tights.
It's better than the man panties.
Not by a lot, because you got the shoulder straps that make it extra tight down here, man.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, but yeah, that was the moment that we got right there. Again, it's just like we said.
Right.
Anytime these teenagers, they'll get along for a little bit.
And then they'll fight.
One thing happens. One tiny thing, and they all get at each other's throats. But every time they get at each other's throats, they learn something new.
About
somebody else. And they all get a little bit more insight and realize, like,
we're not all as different as we thought, I guess.
Right? Like, we every time they find out more about Bender's home life,
they're like, oh, fuck. Goddamn, man.
I didn't know.
I
would never have said.
Right.
We're trying to set up that these kids just slowly learn. Hey, maybe we're a lot more alike than we are different. Like, we're dealing with the same struggles.
All this clique bullshit we deal with.
We're dealing with the same struggles, different ways.
Yeah.
This is the moment that Bender tries to remind everybody, we got to try to be quiet. We're trying, even though the door's shut.
Yeah.
We can't be so loud.
That douchebag walks back in here.
Yeah, so once everybody wakes up from their weird nap that they got
weird,
going
slow
on,
collapse into sleep that they do.
At that point, we see Bender is sitting there ripping up a library book.
Just tearing the pages.
Like,
such a great use of your time. Maybe you should try reading it, says Andy.
Yeah, and he mispronounces it.
Oh, yeah. Moliere really pumps my
No, he says Moliere. It's Moliere. You said it the right way.
I said it the right way. Sorry. I am incapable of saying it wrong, apparently.
But yeah, he says it wrong. And then Brian, too. Like, it's Brian's like, I love his writing.
It's really good. I froze a big chunk of the paper. Like, shut up.
What's it matter?
Who gives a shit?
But this is the moment, where we find out, like I mentioned earlier, that Claire's parents are not divorced yet.
Yeah, not divorced yet.
They will be soon.
Tries to invite her to that party, right?
And she mentions, like, oh no, I might get grounded.
My mom said I'm grounded, but my dad said
it doesn't matter. Off. Yeah. But again, like, letting us know that they are together. Like, not just divorced parents fighting. Like, they are literally still married.
Yeah, it's
because she says, "Oh, if I do this, it'll piss her off, and they might get divorced." Right. That's what she says.
It's all heading
it's gonna be It's like she made it seem like that was gonna be that was the straw that's gonna break the back. Like, it's that close, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, come on now. It gives you that insight on like her home life, right? Like, no kid should feel that way. No kid should feel like what they're doing is responsible for mom and dad.
Everybody else just kind of is just like, stop feeling sorry for yourself,
which is kind of not valid.
No,
she has a total reason to feel.
She does, but
she is a spoiled rich kid.
Though. She is the spoiled rich kid, but so they're all just like,
I will say that as not being rich, it is always hard to hear.
Yeah, it's always hard.
It's valid. They are totally right. It's hard to
take away from your feelings, but I have a hard time.
But you have a lot of
because you're not hungry.
You have a lot of the other things that I wish I had.
Right.
So it's hard for me to feel bad about the one thing that's not going right for you. Again, we're the wrong ones.
Did Princess have a problem with the butler?
Well, and again, we're the wrong ones here.
Yeah,
we're the ones that
but it's hard not to feel that way.
It is. I agree. I just want to make sure the audience knows we are
hypocrites. It's okay.
We are evolved enough people to know that we are definitely wrong about that.
Right, but can't help but feel it.
Yeah, that's right. We know that we shouldn't, and we know not to say it
to their
in real life to people.
To their face.
Again, like we said, you learn things about people.
Bender starts giving Claire shit about Claire being a fat girl's name and if she's a virgin or not, and that's really uncomfortable.
No, time two.
This is the second one where it's really super uncomfortable.
And again, not a focus, not something I really walk away from the movie thinking about.
Yeah, you forget it happens because you don't want to think about it.
No, because the rest of the movie's so good.
Yeah, it's so fun. But this pisses Andy off, and he's just like, leave her the fuck alone, right? And
and again, we have lots of these virgin
It happens
talks.
A couple times.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Because he gives Brian a hard time when Brian...
and he tries to be like, he looks over at Claire and he's like, you and Claire,
Yeah, well, again, we'll get there. Though. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it happens a lot. And every time it happens, it's not okay.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's just more of Bender being an asshole to everybody.
It's that, and he's trying to make the assumption, right? This is when he calls him like all American. He's like, oh, your life is too good. You're on the wrestling team.
Yeah, Mr. All American, hero.
And then Bender's like, and Andrew. That's when Andrew makes the assumption, like, well, you're just like this because you're whatever. And then that's when Bender is like gives us the first like insight. He's like, the Bender household isn't like that.
No, it's not like
the Bender household's way crazier. You wish you wish that you were right about what my household was like, but it's way worse than you could even imagine. That's when we get into the you want to fight me? You want to try to bring it on at me? And he's like,
you and how many of your friends?
And if you were gonna do it, there would only be 2 hits.
Me hitting you hitting the ground. And dude, Bender fucked up here. He does the whole little backhand, shut the fuck up.
Like pansy.
Dude, man, fucking Andy was ready for that, dude.
He's got a little pansy
little slap he did at him and shit. Dude, he put him right on the ground.
He drops him. Again, like you said, he doesn't do it the correct way.
No, you got to get those hands together. You got to get the S lock.
But I will give Emilio Estevez props in how quickly.
That
happened in seconds.
Right? He was ready for it.
It was phenomenal.
You're going to Judd Nelson, you got to be quick, right?
Well, and he does, man.
But Bender's all like, I don't want to get into this shit with you, man. I'll fucking kill you. And then your parents are going to get mad and everybody's going to think, and I just don't think enough of you to do that. And Andy calls him a chicken shit and he pulls the switchblade out.
I just want to point out.
I kind of want to agree with Andy. He's a little bit of a chicken shit.
Well, Andy was right about everything in this scene.
Yeah, completely
He was wrong for being sexual towards
Claire.
He was wrong for trying to call out Andy's personal life during this moment because he was standing up for Claire.
Right.
He was wrong for the knife.
Yeah, he's completely wrong.
There's nothing about this moment. I like Bender.
I do, but you don't look like a badass.
But this isn't a good look.
No,
yeah, exactly. This is not a good look.
You look like a little bitch, especially when you pulled the knife. It's like, all right, cool. You got took down. It happens to the best of us.
But then we get, this is like one of the first times I visually noticed klepto scene.
Right? Like Allison just
steals the
knife.
From
like off camera, just grabs the knife and and we never see it again.
No. But during the scene, though, I want to point out how quick, right? He puts that knife down the second Andrew calls his bluff.
Right. He backs down.
Well, not only does he back down, the look, dude. The look on his face the second that Andrew was like, what the fuck ever. Right, I'm not afraid. I don't
even give a shit about your knife.
You could tell he instantly was like, oh, shit.
That didn't work.
I didn't think I'd have to fight.
Right.
I don't know what to do now.
You can tell Bender's never...
It's good that it didn't go further.
I'm not going to say Bender's never been in a fight, but you can tell he's never fought somebody who knows how to fight. You know what I mean? Like, you can say what you want about wrestling or anything, but like the ability to grab a dude and put him on the ground when you want to is really useful.
So then the moment calms down.
Yeah.
Obscenely quickly.
Yeah, it just kind of all just diffuses immediately. This happens a lot. It's like peaks and valleys of like,
yeah, but this
we're
time,
all chill. We're going to fight.
Yeah,
we're all chill.
No, but this time, there was a knife and threatening
there was
to
serious
kill somebody.
Violence involved
so
here.
It's a little bit way crazy this time.
That we're just kind of done.
But so it's done.
We're not going to mention it again.
Again, every bit of it warranted. Like I said, I'll stay by that. I love Bender, and
I wouldn't have let Bender up. All I'm saying, if when I got him down like that, I would have held him there until he passed out.
But so after it's over and it's calm, like we said, it's just, again, kind of jarring this time more so than other times. This is the time where we get the janitor, right?
Yeah, the janitor
wheels in.
The cool, wise old janitor.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
At first, Bender's trying to make fun of him, right?
Was he like, Brian, your dad work here?
Well, and he keeps going with that, right? Like, because he says that, and then he's like, let me ask you a question.
Brian here would like to get into the
custodial arts. Which I do love that.
I do like that.
I say that a lot.
Too. I do say
being
a janitor. I am a master of the custodial arts.
It's definitely something I say a lot.
Right.
Like we said, he's the wise janitor. He's smart. He dropped some knowledge. He thought that Bender thought he was gonna get the better of him when he throws this.
He just starts being like, you all think I'm just like some slave, some mindless peon you get to push around.
But let me tell you, I'm the one that knows all your secrets.
I go through your trash. I go through your lockers, to which Bender's eyes get real big. He's just like, wait, what about my locker? Shut up, right? You ain't been in there. Don't fuck with the janitors, man. We know our shit. We see all.
And as we find out later, he also has keys to the record.
Yeah, he has keys to everything too.
So again, like he literally can
get
see
anywhere.
Everything.
But that's a real short.
But yeah, all of those. Yeah, it is real short. But again, like all of those kids, it's like a moment for them to have that realization, right? Like oh shit, our privacy isn't private.
We're not as safe as we thought we were. Especially Bender, the look on his face.
This is, and then right after this is the whistle.
The whistling scene. I love the whistling scene. All right, we did whistling. Now it's lunchtime.
Yep.
They go
The lunchtime is crazy, right? Because so it's lunchtime. They got to get
sodas from the machine.
Well, they got to get at first like it's almost like dude forgot.
Right.
To let them know
to eat. Because he's like in his office and he's got like the little weird cup statue that he's made because the teacher's bored as fuck too, right? Being in detention on a Sunday. So he's just like, oh, fuck. Grabs his jacket and goes in there and he's like, all right, that's 30 minutes for lunch.
Yeah. But so at lunch, he's got to pick two people
to go get something to drink
for everybody. Which when they first say it, I didn't realize how stupid it was until they come back from getting the drinks. We'll deal with the dumbness of the conversation in a second. But just like they come back and they all have food, but nobody has a drink. So they all were told for Saturday detention, bring food,
but nothing to drink. Well, Brian has apple juice. That's it.
Fuck Brian.
That's all I saw.
But nobody else. Everybody else has lunch. Nobody else has a drink.
Yeah, nothing.
Was that not weird?
That is super weird. If I brought my lunch, I brought something to drink. That's all I'm saying.
Now that we address the weirdness of that, we do get the two people selected, which this was weird, right? Yeah. Like, why would you pick these two? Like, visually, if you're going to pick two and you pick the wrestler, you're picking
the popular girl, right? He even tried. He even was kind of like, I said, looking at her like,
But that's not what we get.
No, it's him and Allison, the weird artsy girl.
We may have some strange conversations.
She
says, what's your favorite drink?
Vodka.
I love it.
I drink it all the time. I love vodka. Just whenever.
And he was just like, okay.
okay.
Really?
For real? I don't believe.
Because no one. Yeah. Well, again, you gotta call your bullshit on a thing like that.
I mean, we took vodka to school in Mountain Dew bottles, but not all the time.
But in all fairness, we get this moment where she lied to him, and then he thought he was gonna be able to lie to her.
Yeah, he turns around because she asks him.
He gives the dumbest answer of why he's there.
Right? Why are you here?
Why are you here? And he says, "Oh, just because they thought I wasn't gonna focus enough."
Right. I gotta.
So to make me focus more,
be a winner.
To make me focus more for my athleticism,
I gotta do detention today. And she's just like, "That's really cool. Now tell me the real reason you're here."
Yeah, and she's right.
Completely agree.
That's the most
bullshit.
outrageous shit,
right?
But so now we can deal with we get back to the room, right?
Right.
And when we get back to the room, and they all have
the lunches.
They all have their, but before even the lunches, they went to get everybody drinks. So there was a Coke machine with only Coca-Cola.
That's it.
There's not a 7-Up.
No, only Coke.
There's nothing else. No. It's Coca-Cola.
Only Coke. That is it. That is the only thing you're allowed to have.
But they have other Coke has other products.
No, they were only allowed to have Coke in this movie.
They're like
they didn't get the
rights.
The rights. There we go. They didn't have the rights to do 7-Up and shit.
Dude, well, there were 5 teenagers and 7 Cokes on that table. I swear to God.
Somebody likes to double fist, dude.
It was outrageous. I could not believe what I was seeing. But again, this is the moment. This is the moment.
Variety.
Well, this is the moment where it really blew my mind, though, about the drinks. Because like you said, we see everybody's lunches. They all have fucking lunch and nobody brought a drink.
None of them.
Except for Brian.
And I don't think an apple juice counts because it's a juice box. It's like 2 fucking drinks.
For a high schooler? Yeah, that's 2 drinks.
Not enough. That is gone.
We see their lunches. First we get sushi, right?
Yeah.
This one is really weird to me because we live in an age now where it would be outlandish for someone to not know what sushi is.
Yeah. But in the 80s?
Was it that common? Like, because
right?
literally Bender didn't know.
No.
Like, she says it's sushi and she has to explain herself.
This movie actually is why I knew what sushi was.
So then maybe it's true.
When I was a kid.
Maybe it's true then.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
We were just too young to realize how informational this movie was being.
Might have been.
By introducing sushi to people.
She was ahead of her time.
I'm asking our audience. Is it, if you were...
Right? Are you older than us and remember sushi being a thing?
But yeah, so I had such a problem with the sushi. Again, not a problem. I keep using the word problem. It's not a problem.
There's nothing wrong with sushi itself.
Despite Bender thinking there is.
Just the weirdness of it being there.
Well, and just like the fact that he didn't know what it was. Like,
right?
To me, like that is, it's just hard to comprehend. Again, I don't have a problem with it. It's hard to comprehend.
Is like not liking sushi.
Yeah, no, and
that I will understand.
He still didn't like it.
I don't
when
like
she explained
sushi.
What it was, he still
I've tried several kinds.
He still didn't like it.
Right.
That's her lunch. Then we see the massive amount of food that Emilio pulls out.
4 fucking sandwiches.
Andrew has like, because he's bulking up.
Fuck
right?
yeah, dude. It's a dirty bulk. You got to get those carbs in, man.
And of course, we see Brian.
He's got the wholesome peanut butter with the crust.
This is like the next time that he. This is the next time Bender throws out All American. Right. This is the All American.
And then he goes into the this is my impression. Of life at Brian's house.
Yeah.
Hi, Dad. Hi, son. How would you like to go fishing this weekend? Gee. Little finger dimples. Isn't our son swell? Isn't life swell?
Oh man, wait. Do you know what we missed?
What did we miss?
We skipped the conversation that everybody else was having while the two were walking down the hallway. Do you remember what that is?
No.
It's the virginity conversation we said that we were going to talk about again later. It's the moment when Brian has to be like
shut the fuck.
Because again, think that Emilio and Allison were gone.
That's right. Damn it.
All right. So we'll address the sandwich. We'll talk about that real quick. We're not talking about long enough ago for it to matter.
Yeah. Honestly, the sandwich sounds fantastic.
It does it though. I agree most of it.
Pixie sticks and Captain Crunch.
Wait. Well, you're missing a part though, right? So when she first gets the sandwich, she throws the pimento loaf.
Is it? I thought it was olive loaf.
Either way,
it's gross. It doesn't matter.
There's definitely olive in it, but I thought I saw the cheese specks.
And it flops and
it is definitely
to that
a
weird
processed meat loaf of some sort.
Ugh.
But she throws that up before she starts putting the Captain Crunch in the sugar, or when she puts the sugar on. I don't know if it's fully a pixie stick or if it's just like sugar. Like McDonald's used to give like sugar in like a tube like that too.
Oh, did they? I didn't
for like
know
coffee. So I don't know. But whatever it is, before she puts it, or while she's putting it on, if you see the bread, I think there's mayonnaise there. Because again, it was an olive loaf sandwich, dude.
I didn't notice that.
So I don't know.
If it has mayo, that ruins it.
Like, I could do the sugar
and Captain Crunch. That would be on bread. That sounds fantastic. But if you put mayonnaise on it, I don't know. It's kind of, if you don't have a lot, maybe it might be, it's a neutral enough flavor. We're getting chefy about it.
All right. So again, we missed a step. We'll jump right back. We're not going to spend much time on it. We just need to say it because we brought it up earlier.
Right.
So the scene we missed was just like while Andrew and Allison were walking down the hallway for Cokes, we get to see what Bender and the rest of the crew are doing. And this is the sex scene. This is where he wants to find out more about Claire and if she's a virgin. Brian says something. He focuses on Brian. Well, he focuses on Brian, and Brian won't say anything at first.
Yeah, he's just like,
he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's my girlfriend in Canada.
Yeah, she was in Canada. You wouldn't know her.
He keeps pressing him and pressing him and pressing him on it, and then finally Brian's like, Claire's not looking at him, and Brian starts like nudging towards Claire.
He kind of leans there like, dude, shut up.
And Bender is a super big dick because I don't know if Bender read it wrong on purpose, or if he just read it wrong. But obviously, you could tell he was not trying to say he had sex with Claire. Yeah. And Bender just goes, you're telling me you and Claire have had it?
Right. You all fucked. That's what you're saying.
It's very bullshit. He forced it it was either on purpose or not. And it's really hard to tell because Bender is both a dick on purpose and sometimes not.
Yeah, not without
Sometimes it's just his personality.
He's just a dick whether he likes it or not. He can't help it.
It's true. And so like I don't want to judge too much about it, but yeah, it was a horrible scene. He forces Brian to say he is a virgin in front of Claire when he didn't want to. And he says that. He says it's personal. It's my personal.
It's my personal business.
I don't need to share it with people.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
I mean, I agree. That's fine. No one needs to fucking know your bullshit.
That's right. And that, trust me when I tell everybody, not as important of a thing as any of you think.
Not at all. I mean,
it's the least important thing
who gives
ever.
A fuck, man.
What age you were when you decided to finally have sex does not affect anything in your life,
or how cool of a person you fucking are,
which is an important thing.
Like when we were in high school, it was like the end all.
Well, and this movie,
right? And this movie is like,
and so again, like that's part of why we're pointing that out is because we want to end that kind of thinking.
It's bullshit. Don't think that.
We shouldn't have grown up with.
No, we shouldn't have been fucking told that. We really shouldn't have. It should have been just like, whatever the fuck you feel like doing it.
But yeah, so that's all we really need to talk about with that scene. We can say we're done with lunch because again, the last thing we needed to talk about was her sandwich. We covered that. Bender had no food.
Yeah, he just kind of was like
he was hoping to
steal Brian's food, I guess.
But then he insulted him.
Yeah.
And so he lost out on that.
And they go into the whole G and stuff. And then
the paint.
Yeah, then Andrew's just like, what about your family? Yeah. He's like, oh, easy. And he just goes into the whole like, starts imitating his dad.
Yeah, he starts going on about his family.
Right. Just be like,
and because
Andy doesn't believe me. He's like, bullshit, it's all part of your image.
They're like, let me show you. What's this? What's
about the size of a cigar? Do I stutter?
And then he finishes telling the whole story.
Right.
I love it because he finishes telling the whole story and then he says it again. Do I stutter?
And then he gets pissed, like goes throwing shit, and Monkey climbs up onto this fucking staircase, this cool ass staircase in this library. I love this library. I'm sorry. And just like was like,
But at this point,
Claire's even is like,
Claire's upset.
You shouldn't have said that. And he's like,
he didn't know.
Was I supposed to know?
We literally referenced that earlier because again, this is the thought process they have all movie long. They constantly insult each other until they get to a point to where they hit a nerve.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Fuck, I didn't realize."
Yeah, fuck, my bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
I didn't realize how true that was.
Right, like because nobody knew Bender's dad would burn him with a cigar and shit.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. I'm just saying, like that is what we get. There's like a cycle of this in the movie. This next part, though, right? This is where we see Vernon again, right, in his office. in the thermos.
Yeah, the fucking thermos full of mud.
It is as dark. We already said earlier that this beer is super dark. It is as dark as this beer.
Oh my God.
I'm glad the movie addresses it.
Chunky.
I'm glad the movie addresses it. Because at first, I didn't remember. Like, the first time I went back and watched this for this stuff, I didn't remember if... They said, like, I literally paused it before we got to where he says something about it being sludge, right? I paused it before, and I was literally starting to be like, holy shit.
Is this missing scene?
No, I was like, is this one of those standard definition 4K problems? Did they make this because it looked good on standard def for coffee, but now it looks like toxic sludge? And then I finally hit play, and I was like, oh, they're playing it for the scene.
Because he's just like, looks like they scraped it off the bottom of the Mississippi, fucking sludge and
but
shit.
I had to make sure you understood that. For me, I paused it too early, and I literally was second guessing everything I knew
about it.
I was like
the bald cap.
Yes,
from the last episode.
It was like the bald cap. I was like, is this one of those things where they thought it worked better for what they were filming it on?
No one will notice. It's fine.
And then I finally hit play, and I was like, I feel like a moron right now.
Okay, good. They explained.
I deleted
one line of dialogue.
I literally had to scribble out some notes.
Oh, don't you hate it when you do that?
Because I was like, oh, these notes are no good.
These notes are no good. Fuck shit.
That's not true. That whole thought process, wrong.
It's all wrong.
But yeah, that's the moment I had there for sure.
But that makes an excuse for Vernon to fuck off to the other end of the school, I guess.
Because he wants to get coffee.
Real coffee. So we get a mission. We're going to the Bender's locker.
Out of nowhere, right?
Out of nowhere.
Again, we point out the last time we saw them, they were literally ready to nuclear breakdown again.
They were so pissed, right? And then suddenly just mission. We have to get to Bender's locker.
All on board. It's not like we didn't get to see the sign up part.
No.
Like normally for this movie, we usually would have seen that scene, right? Like we would have seen them be like all talking to each other.
We're gonna go do this.
Like Bender being like,
no, I don't want to do that.
Fuck
you, we're gonna do it.
This time, no. We just get to see that they're already on board.
We're already going. We are in transit
and
on
like
the way.
Essentially hearing some of them say like,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Where are we even going?
Fucking Claire's just like, do you know when Vernon's gonna be back? And he's like, no.
I have no idea.
Let's just go. Doesn't being bad feel fun?
So we see they're going to Bender's locker. I love his locker.
Right, his locker's
Keep
awesome.
Out with the marker.
If you open this, you will die.
A guillotine.
Right,
my man's installed a guillotine in his locker.
Legitimate one. Sharp. Cuts that fucking shoe's toe right off.
And all for what?
Bag of weed, son.
Triple, quadruple paper bag.
Like,
was that supposed to help with the smell? I don't understand why it was. It was like
greasy
in a grocery paper bag first, right? Like grocery store,
big
like
one.
the old school ones.
And
then it was like in like
Russian nesting doll style.
Then it was like a sandwich paper bag,
right?
And then it was like a tiny paper bag, and then just a plastic bag.
It just got progressively smaller.
I was like, what is happening?
That was awesome.
And then of course, as soon as he pulls it out, everybody's like, is that?
No,
that's what it was
Put
for?
that back.
Brian's reaction, just like the first time.
He's got marijuana.
I love every time he reacts to weed. The first time when he was like, my cousin, and he went crazy.
Right.
And then this time, and he's like, you see that? Are you okay with this? He looks at Allison. He looks at Allison when she's the only one left. And she was just like, she giggles a little bit and walks.
I don't know.
I don't know why he cracks me up so much.
It's so good.
Maybe it's because what we see here in just a little bit.
Right.
Because I feel like he's a secret stoner already.
Right. He just doesn't want anybody to know.
Right. And so he's overreacting to like,
oh my God,
weed.
He doesn't even call it a slang term. Yeah. It's marijuana.
And so I feel like maybe that's what we're trying to see here.
Totally. That's exactly what it is.
If not, that's definitely
he's a closet burner. He likes to like no.
That's definitely what we will now say is definitely
canon.
Yeah. That's our canon for the movie for sure.
That is Kentucky Fried Critic canon. He is a stoner for life.
Before we leave the scene, though, we get another one of the Allison klepto moments.
Yeah, she steals the lock off of Bender's locker for no reason.
Well, like anything, she's a klepto. There's no reason for it. She just does it.
I'm gonna take this. This is mine now. But then we have to we get like the like chase scene, don't we?
But yeah, so they're walking through the hallway, they're on their way back, and they're trying to figure out how to go, right? And the first time they try to figure it out, Bender's like, oh, right here. And as soon as they make that turn, boom. Who's there?
Vernon. And they're
wrong
like,
way.
fuck, we got to go this other way.
And then they have the argument again, like, which way? And this time it's an actual argument.
Yeah,
right?
Like,
because
no,
Andrew's like, we need to go this way.
we need to go that way.
Bender says, fuck it, we'll go your way.
Right. And they go.
Andrew was wrong.
Right, he was totally
Activities
wrong.
hall or cafeteria?
Yeah, it was the activities hall or cafeteria. We went with activities hall, which was locked with a gate.
Should have went with cafeteria.
We're all going to get caught now. Fuck. We are in so much trouble.
Bender was so right.
Dude,
but Bender?
Hero. Sacrifice.
Exactly.
Man. He throws himself right on the sword.
He is learning. He is evolving.
Yeah.
Right?
No one else has to go down but me.
He starts running through the halls, screaming and chanting, I want to be an Air Force Ranger. I want to lead a life of danger. I literally, no joke, when I jog up and down my street, that is what I chant to myself in my head.
It's motivating. You just want to do it.
And it gives you a beat.
Yeah,
a really good one.
To pace to.
Yeah. That is how ingrained in my head that is.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, so he saves the day by charging through the halls.
Right. Getting
again at this point because the shoe, right? At this point we see he runs to the gym and he's got one tennis shoe.
He has one tennis shoe and one boot.
I love this attention to detail. I don't know why I love it so much, but it's so funny.
I like how when the Vernon comes in there and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" and he goes to throw the ball and
he
then
dunks it, dude.
Yeah,
I do it wrong. It's a low. It's a low basket.
He makes the dunk. It's fine. But then he goes and he like throws the ball at Dunn and he's like, "Oh shit!" and then he rolls it real easy and he kicks it and he jumps out of the tennis shoe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know. It leaves it there.
Jumps out of it. And
Vernon takes him out.
Right. It was so good.
Takes him back.
You guys can say bye to this guy. I'm going to go take him and stash him in a storage closet.
BOOHOO.
Right.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah,
right?
You think you're a real tough guy.
What if your dope was on fire?
That's impossible, sir. It's over in Johnson's underwear. The fuck?
I love
eyes,
that
that's so
moment.
Fucking big.
I love a moment when you can drop the truth and know you're getting away with it.
Right.
Right. And Bender knew it. He was like, there's no way this man's going to check this man's underpants.
No. Just throws it out. Just like, yeah, he's like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Because of course we didn't mention that, but before he ran, he gave his trusty weed to Johnson. He said, guard this with your life.
Guard this with your life.
And he did.
Yeah. He's a good man. Good guy.
But yeah, so at this point though, we see Vernon take him
to that weird storage closet.
Like a music room storage closet. Why is it attached to the library?
I don't know. No idea.
Right, because you saw music stands in there too, right? It's not just me.
There's like music stands, books.
Maybe an instrument case?
I don't know. There's a weird storage room he gets shoved in. And a lamp.
But so
a random lamp.
He grabs him too, like in front of the other kids. Yeah. And then he comes to the room and he's like, oh, people are going to take your word. And I'm like, whatever, you just abused a kid in front of other kids.
Like, he wants to
you
fight
are
him.
Fired. You are fired.
No one will believe him. No, I am respected in this town. No one is going to take your word over mine. Let's fight right now. I want to see how fucking tough you are, Bender.
So again, I want to point out right now, after he does that, of course, Bender doesn't do it because we know.
Yeah, because again, I've had this happen. A teacher's legitimately been like, no one will fucking believe you. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
Well, and it doesn't even, it's for Bender, it's not even that. Like for Bender, it's almost psychological trauma. This is what he deals with at home, right? Like
he's definitely like post-traumatic stress right now.
Yeah, right. And so like none of it matters. He is you can see it in his face. He's like little boy all of a sudden. Yeah. Like he's just like living through his trauma right now. But beyond that, right now, so as soon as that happens, he locks him in the room and walks away, right? The other kids will then see this. So that means that this man has beat a kid, threatened him, locked him in a closet. And of the three, the only one
reasonable imprisonment.
Of the three, the only one the kids can't corroborate is the threat, which is the least troublesome of the three things.
They did seem like he put hands on that kid. He did drag him up. He did falsely imprison him in a room against his will.
The only thing they didn't hear was the threat.
I mean, we got him 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
This dude is a moron.
Yeah, he is.
And it doesn't even matter because Bender's smarter than he is.
Yeah, he didn't jump. I would have probably done it.
I don't even mean that. I mean, Bender was smarter than he is because the second he leaves,
he just
Bender gets out of the room.
He goes up through the ceiling.
He's kind of nervous about the heights, and so he starts telling himself
a joke about blonde and a salami in a bar or something. We don't get to hear the punchline.
There is no punchline.
Is there not? That's
I
not a real
wanted
joke.
to know this so bad so long ago. I had to find out. It is one of those things. John Hughes let Judd Nelson riff while he was doing the scene,
improv it,
and he improv'd it. There is no actual end to that joke.
Oh, come on!
But yeah, that is one of those beautiful things. But instead of a punchline, I feel like we get a better line.
Him falling through the ceiling.
It's not even that. I love the after falling through. He comes out and he just goes, "I forgot my pencil." I love that. I don't know why that line gets me so much, but dude, I love it. It's so nonchalant.
He falls like a good 10 feet through the ceiling, and everybody's just like, "What the hell?" And
but then
I forgot my pencil.
Well, and then we deal with the immediate, like, how did he not hide the second? He knew there's no way that dude wouldn't have heard that sound, right? But he doesn't hide immediately. He takes his sweet time to hide.
He kind of walks over and grabs his pencil and
ducks under Claire's table.
Then Vernon's like, "What the fuck?"
Ducks under Claire's table.
Again,
well, and Claire's. We have to be specific.
Claire's table.
It's important in just a moment. Well, right now, because we see he looks up skirt. Again, this is those other moments where
this isn't as bad as the other ones.
It kind of is.
This one kind of plays off more.
It does, but it's not. It's so awkward. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. It's so awkward. He is literally head between knees. We'll just leave it that way.
If not further,
we'll leave it that way.
Okay. Jeez.
But so he again out at this point again, we already know they're all starting to be friends.
Yeah, they're covering for him, trying to hide him from the noise that they just made, and Vernon's all just like, "What the fuck was that noise?" And they're all like, "I don't know."
But I love how progressively crazier the scene gets because he won't keep his mouth shut. And like the first time was on purpose. The second time he
hit his head on the table
because she's
kicking at him.
Well, no, she smacked her knees on his temples, dude.
Right.
That's what happens. Have you ever had your temples hit? That hurts, man.
Yeah, I have, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine that then? Knees are hard.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt, dude. But yeah, obviously this moment we see that because all this is going on and it progressively gets crazier, they all just have to keep trying to get crazier to cover it up. And so like they're all making like weird noises and
turns
sneezes
into like a
and
giant coughing fit. Everybody doing it.
I love when it ends because everybody's finished, right? Vernon is almost ready to walk out of the room, and then that's when Allison coughs. She's like,
right? Like, yeah, see, I was in on it too.
I absolutely love it. But yeah, so everybody perfectly covers.
Yeah, and she slaps the shit out of him after Vernon walks out.
He gets his weed, and he's like, "Well, I don't know about you guys.
Right. Hey, Ahab. I'm gonna my doobage.
I'm gonna go smoke some weed."
I love the slow progression of this.
Andrew. Well, no, this is Andrew. Andrew was like, "You're not gonna do that.
You're not doing that in here, man. You're not."
And first we see, almost immediately, Claire was like,
Claire's just kind of like, bloop. "Yeah, I'm going. I'm gonna go smoke."
Then we see Brian though being like looking over. He's looking at Andrew like,
"Are you gonna go?"
And Andrew's like,
I'm not going.
I'm not doing it." And then Brian finally was just like, I'm doing it.
Did you see he had to zip his pants up? Yeah. He stood up and he's like, "Oh shit, my pants are undone."
But so again, we get our same awkward couple left behind as we had in the hallway earlier. We got Andrew and Allison.
Allison and Andrew, and he's just kind of like,
"You're not gonna go either?"
Right?
And she wants to go. Yeah, she keeps eyeballing everything they're doing.
She doesn't actually ever. Does she ever? I don't think she does.
No. He finally. Yeah,
he does. He just goes like, "Fuck it, fine."
Well, and it gets really weird. He goes. I don't think she smoked. She's obviously watching everybody.
Yeah.
But so the three of them, Bender, the three originals.
Yeah, Bender, Claire, and Brian, they all circle up. They smoke
together.
They're all smoking a joint. Andy goes off into the music room or whatever by himself.
It's a foreign language study room.
And
right?
fucking hotboxes the hell out of it.
And hotboxes himself in this room.
Some people like to smoke by themselves. I mean,
but so downstairs we get Brian just becoming the coolest dude in the world.
He's immediately cool. As soon as he smokes a joint, he's immediately cool. He's just like, you know what I'm saying, man?
Is he in a jazz band?
He's what it seems like. Might as well pull the bass out and just be like, "Yo, I got this sweet lick, man." Boom, 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 boom. Chicks cannot hold their smoke. That's what it is.
Again, this whole scene, it's great. Everybody drops, like a little. Their guard
chilled.
comes down.
They all
right?
chill.
But again, like we already pointed out, Andrew, he comes out of the room after hotboxing himself, and he does the most 80s punch dance, jog around this library I've ever seen. And it does. It's just one lap.
He just does one lap
around the top. The whole thing, punching with this weird face.
Kicking, does a weird whistle thing.
Runs back into the room.
Shuts the door, screams, breaks the glass.
And then we never address it again.
Nothing.
The rest of the movie.
Just let it go. He has issues.
Nobody has to deal with the money involved or
nobody
fixing the library.
Why that fucking door's broken.
Vernon didn't hear this.
Right, the glass breaking.
Because he's got to be back by now with his coffee, right? There's no way he's still
has to have his coffee, and this library has to just reek by now.
Oh yeah, dude. Because again, that room
was full of smoke.
So even if you couldn't smell Bender and them's joint that they
you were gonna smell that shit as soon as you opened that door.
Came from up there. It was such a I don't even know what happened there. Like it was like somebody was like, "Hey, we need this movie to be a little bit like Footloose," and so they put this one scene
here.
In.
Emilio, can you dance? Kinda. I can do backflips. He actually did those backflips if you pay attention.
Yeah.
That's not a stunt double.
While this is going on, we do find out that Vernon's not back, though. Like, we assume he would be.
He went down to the basement.
He snuck down to the records he's not supposed to be at. The reason I told you he's not the principal.
Yeah.
Because, again,
makes more sense now.
He'd be allowed to be there.
No, the principal.
The janitor catches him. $50.
Let's keep this between you and me. Right?
$50. Cold hard cash in my hand right now.
Does he pay him? Because
I don't know. I love that moment. I love that moment where he catches him. I hate the beer moment. Like I like the janitor better, thinking he's giving one over on the guy, not he's trying to help him understand.
Buddying up to him.
Right, like not where he's trying to be like, no, you are just old.
Right, we're old. Deal with it.
So while that's going on, we go back to the kids, right? And this is when we start to get some more confessions from people, right?
Yeah.
We start with Allison, right? Yes. She's not really telling.
This is where she steals dude's wallet.
Yeah, no, I know.
And she's like, I'm not a thief.
That's
but you just stole my wallet.
This is where we start to see, we start to see that she's not telling everybody the truth.
No, she's kind of a liar.
And we don't know that yet, but but soon.
You start to get the inclination.
We full on get her admit the kleptomania, because she admits she stole his wallet.
If you paid attention, she has stole a bunch of shit. She says
everything. Again, we jumped the gun a bit and maybe didn't address why we know she's the klepto right now. Right. She pulls out his wallet. She stole.
Yeah, she stole Brian's wallet because I don't know. Andy asked him something, and she just like lists off like his height,
birthday, maybe, or something
all this,
dumb.
The social security number, all this shit, and he's just like, "How the hell?" And she's like, I stole your wallet."
And then he's like, "Oh, you're a thief," and she's like,
No, I'm not. Just multi-talented."
Okay,
right, makes sense.
We get the weird scene with Bender and Claire. Right? She's looking at his belongings, which is literally just his wallet.
Yeah, it's
he
just
owns nothing else.
Just a wallet with pictures of
and he's
girls.
Looking at her purse.
He's using her like makeup brush as a toothbrush.
So again, the whole scene is just supposed to be that everybody is emptying out their personal belongings.
Yeah, it's like we're literally dumping our purses on each other.
It's so strange. I don't understand. And again, we already know she's been a thief, right?
Right.
And she says, "Anybody want to see what's in my bag?"
No.
Everybody says no. I don't know about you, but if the person tells me that or we've caught being
a thief, like, yes, I want to know what's in your bag because some of that might be mine.
Thankfully, she dumps it out anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% would have been like, bitch, dump it.
Dump it. I want to know if you took any of my shit.
And we see that she lives out of the bag.
Yeah,
pretty no much. Surprise here.
You never know when you're going to have to fucking
when you're
bounce.
A teenager, how many of us didn't have maybe not a full set of clothes, but like something?
I mean,
ready to go.
I had different shoes for marching band than my combat boots.
Sometimes you just had to be ready for things. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is another one of those scenes after we deal with the bag and what she's got, people realizing, oh, we do have more in common.
Yeah,
we're dealing with different shit in different ways, but we got a lot more in common.
She seems like she just wants to run away at a moment's notice because her home life is unsatisfying.
That's right.
To which Brian is kind of incredulous. He's just kind of like, Andy, do you believe this bitch? She wants to run away because her life is unsatisfying. And Andy's just like, well, I mean, aren't we all that fucking way, and she gets pissed and is like, well, fuck both of you guys, and leaves. And we get the weird
Allison Andrews scene.
They're all weird. Every interaction with these two in this movie is weird.
But yeah, this is the one where he's like trying to ask about her parents.
Yeah, and she's just like,
yeah, they're horrible.
It's horrible.
And he's like, "Oh, they treat you bad? It's your parents, right?"
I thought this you
the first expect that you're gonna see that they beat her
or something, but
lock
it's just
her
like,
in the basement.
It's like, oh no, they just ignore me.
They don't pay attention.
They don't pay attention to me.
So she was emo before emo was cool.
Yeah, she was emo. She's the OG emo,
and she didn't have bands to listen to.
Right? She created the bands.
I guess so,
right?
Dude.
That's how that works.
Yeah, again, like we said, it's a really ridiculous scene. It makes no sense. This is the moment where the janitor and Vernon are having their talk.
Yeah, they're drinking some beers.
It's literally just to the janitor is telling Vernon over and over again, "You're just old." Because Vernon is telling us, like I've already said, he's the guy who at some point in his life was the cool teacher.
Yeah.
He was the teacher that didn't care too much, was just kind of there for fun, and wanted to be your friend. The problem with that kind of teacher is if they don't evolve, they just become a joke. Yeah. Right? They become
the easy A class.
Well, and they become like a laughing stock of what they thought they used to be, like the coolness. Because at some point they're not cool because they got
still dressing like it's 1974. I mean,
right? And so that's all this scene is. And it's constant denial from Vernon.
Yeah.
He does not want to believe it.
No, these kids turned on me. It's all they're just weird now. It's not me. I'm not out of touch.
And the janitor is literally just staring at him like...
Yeah, because the janitor's like the same age he
is. He's
dude,
I'm trying.
Like, dude. Like,
and again, they still look at him like he's kind of cool.
Yeah, because
he's the fucking janitor.
You gotta love a janitor.
So again, he's right. He knows he is. Like, acknowledge who you are, where you're at in life.
Yeah, and maybe the kids will respect you a little more.
Don't be something you're not.
Right.
Doesn't get it.
Admit you're a douchebag, and maybe they'll like you better.
We get another sexual tension conversation with the teenagers. Virginity and weirdness, with Allison lying to everybody. Again, we don't know what to lie when she's saying it.
She starts going on about like, I'll have sex with anything. Just ask my
including
shrink.
My therapist, because I've had sex with him twice.
He paid me even,
which makes it. She says okay, which actually makes it more even worse. Not okay. Yeah, because
makes it even worse. That's more jail time. In fact.
So really though, we find out she's just doing this to goad Claire into admitting that she's a virgin, which is fucked up beyond all.
Yeah, that's super fucked up.
As soon as Claire does, she immediately throws out the I'm a virgin too. I'm a compulsive liar.
Yeah.
And as soon as she says it, the look on Brian looks from Claire to Allison with the look that is literally just like,
what a twist.
Holy shit. What just happened?
Do you have a response to that?
Plot twist.
Right.
What just happened?
Right.
But yeah, we did. And again, nobody calls her out on how crazy it is either. Like, nobody is calling Allison out.
They're all like, get over it. You're just mad because she got you to admit something you didn't want to.
But nobody...
even Claire's just like, but that's still...
They all gaslight...
That's still pretty fucked up.
They all gaslight Claire, and nobody says a word to Allison.
No. This is super weird. You shouldn't do that.
Then we see Brian starts to tell people what's going on with him, right? But then I'm sure happens to him all the time. Andrew takes the thunder,
takes over,
and says, "Oh, but I'm here because let me tell you why I'm really here." And we find out he taped some hairy ass dude's butt cheeks together.
Yeah,
which is horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Terrible.
I'm sure it was painful. Right. But yeah, we see that's why he's here. He then immediately just starts blaming his dad.
Yeah, it's his dad's fault.
I'm like, fuck, dude. I get it. I'm not saying you don't have like a bigger issue
with
here
your dad.
But take that to your shrink. These kids just asked you why you were in detention.
Right. You take dudes' butts together. Yeah,
that's the end of story.
I don't need 5 minutes on why your dad is a dickhead and it's his fault.
We get it. Chill it out,
right,
dude.
Relax.
Take a breath.
If anything, it's your fault because you did it.
And now we get to hear a little bit more of Brian, right?
Yeah, he finally gets to
to tell some more. And he's like, so I'm failing shop.
That's why I got an F. That's why I'm in here. And
again, it's no shock to anybody, right? Brian doesn't look like the kind of guy.
Yeah, and he's just
I'm not the kind of guy.
Fuck no, I didn't take shop. I could build shit. I suck at building things.
But Brian definitely doesn't look like the kind of guy.
Right, so, but he thought it'd be an easy A, because
as soon as he says that, Bender goes,
I take shop.
Well, and he goes, easy A.
Yeah, right.
What were you thinking?
Right, like, what do you think?
And he's like, well, I take trig, blah, blah, blah. And again, this is the point. This is the thing, and this is what he learns in this moment.
Yeah.
Everybody's intelligences are different.
Right.
Like, just because you're good at trig doesn't mean you're
good at building
things. It doesn't make you the smartest man in the world. It makes you good at math.
Yeah, you're good.
It doesn't make you good at
theoretical application of science.
It doesn't make you good at all. It doesn't. Again, being smart is not the end all be all of everything.
Right.
And that's what he's starting to learn. Right.
Because Bender's over there just like, my lamp lit. You know that's what he's thinking. He's like, my lamp lit. The fuck's your problem, smart guy?
But then that's just the end of the conversation there, though. We still don't get to the full reason yet, right?
No, it comes into it's like in three stages.
Parts. Yeah. So again, we get that little piece. We find out that that's what's going on, and then again
because they're starting to like snipe back and forth.
Yeah, but we get the tension breaker.
Yeah, the tension breaker.
I can do all these weird things with my feet.
Foot. I can write with my toes and play the piano and do all this shit.
Claire's useless skill comes in.
I can put makeup on.
Uncomfortable sexual moment again for no reason.
Bender just being an asshole because she did something with her boobs.
It was all kinds of.
And they all jump on. And you're like, dude, don't be a dick like that. Like, you said you weren't gonna laugh. You're being a fucking asshole.
Please just stop.
Yeah, just fucking stop.
And then he calls her on pity parties, and I'm like, dude, your whole existence in this movie has been nonstop. Right. Be pitiful.
Look how sad my life is.
Like, practice what you preach,
right,
dude.
For real. Everything we've heard from you has been like, my dad beats me and treats me like shit. That's why I'm an asshole.
Then we start to have this conversation, right? This is where we find out, like, Claire's a bitch.
Yeah.
Because they start to talk about what they're going to do when this day is over. Because now they're friends.
Yeah, Brian is like, what are we going to do on Monday? Are we still going to be friends?
They've gotten through the bulk of their issues at this point, right? And so now they all are starting to see themselves as closer than they are, and they're like, what happens Monday? They're starting to see
each other as people and not just what group you belong to.
Yeah, what happens Monday? And Claire immediately, no hesitation. No hesitation. We go back to our normal lives.
We're probably not.
Yeah, I won't even look at you in the hallway.
Andy's even tries to be like, that's a little fucked up, and she's like, dude, bullshit. You know you do it too, and he's just like, no.
And then he tries, but
no,
then she
I wouldn't. Yeah, I would.
Then she tries to throw Bender under the bus too, right?
Yeah.
And I have such a problem with this. She's like, if you brought me in as your girlfriend, and I was like, hey, first off, way to hint at what you want,
right?
B, I don't think you understand how social hierarchy works.
You're at the top.
If you're at the top, your friends are going to look at you weird for bringing
a Bender.
But Bender's friends are going to look at him and be like,
dude, you're a fucking legend. Oh my fucking God, dude. Are you serious? You're really with her? Shut up.
So I don't think she understands.
No, she doesn't get it at all. It's hard to see the peons at the bottom from the top.
And so, Bender lays into her for how absurd this is.
This is the one time he goes in on her that I'm kind of like, yeah, I'd let her have it.
Yeah, she needed to hear this. Because again, having that mentality is what keeps things the way they are instead of getting them beyond that kind of fucking dumbness.
Yeah, you should stand up for your friend. For people.
Now that you found out that they are peers.
Yeah, they're regular fucking people with problems.
Don't go back to that, right?
Yeah, don't go back to the clique bullshit.
But so now, in the heat of all this, is when we finally, Brian breaks in, gets to finish his story.
Do you all know why the fuck I'm
you
here?
You guys all think that this matters.
You are so fucking conceited. Screw all of you. He finally even says fuck you to Claire, right?
I brought a gun to school. Because my locker.
Because my grades were bad. I can't have an F. My parents can't have an F. I was gonna end it.
I was going to shoot myself.
It was going to be done and stuff. And they're like, you were going to do that seriously over grades? He's like, well, clearly I didn't.
It was a flare gun.
It went off in his locker.
It was a flare gun.
A flare gun, which admittedly is really funny. Like, dark subject matter. And
funny
then
way to deal with it.
Immediately, the end was so funny.
When he says it.
He's like, it was a flare gun. Destroyed the elephant. I was like, well, I mean, see, there you go. Maybe they will get to redo it.
Now we get non-high dance party.
Yeah,
right? We had dance party once.
Yeah.
One high.
But that was just solo Emilio. Dance party.
Yeah. But now we got everybody dancing. Everybody's doing
the thing.
Like the weird, like, not walk like an Egyptian, but not too far away from from it, right? Like they're all doing like a weird
yeah, it's super weird.
Arm like raising. And once the dance party is over, they all realize like, oh shit, our day is almost over.
Yeah, Bender's got to go back to his closet.
Well, before Bender goes back though, they're all talking, and that's when Claire is like, so Brian, you're smart.
Yeah, you're the smart one of all of us. I mean, it doesn't really seem fair.
I don't think all of us need to write 1,000 words. Why don't you just write 1,000 words and put all of our names on it?
To his credit, he's just like, you just don't want to do it.
And to her credit, she says,
well, yeah. But
she didn't try to lie.
We would all say the same thing, right?
And now that's fair, though. Yeah, at this point of the day, they would.
Oh, totally.
And so...
And he would be able to put it across more eloquently than everybody else. So he was actually the best choice.
We get a couple of... I mean, we're really done. We're not going to spend any... We're not... Well, I mean, there's no reason to spend any time on this because none of them matter. So real quick, we've got... Allison and Claire have the makeover scene.
Yeah, they go and make over Allison.
Claire makes Allison literally look like a... No, dude, listen to me. And I want you to picture this while I'm saying it. She makes her look like a 1970s male newscaster. Those bangs come out 3 inches in front of her head.
Oh my God, you're right.
I don't understand why this was supposed to be like a positive makeover.
No, she looked better before.
I don't understand the hair. I don't understand the look. Literally all I ever see when I see that is you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Like Howard Cosell type of
fucking
like
hair. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's what it looks like. The bangs look like that.
All gothed out. It was fine.
But so she gets the makeover. We know that Brian's writing the letter.
Yeah.
The couples couple up and fuck Brian over.
Yeah, I mean Bender.
Like Brian's busy writing the letter.
He's writing it. He's super proud of himself.
I know, but then Bender and Claire are like, "Oh, us," and like the earring.
Go hook up in the fucking
we get the earring
storage
trading
room.
Scene,
yeah,
right? She gives him the diamond
the
to put
earring,
and then we get the weird moment of newscaster Allison coming to find up Andrew.
And he's like super into it.
He's like, oh, I love this look. Again, not the right thing. No. Guys, look back to the last episode. Let people call you a poser if they want to, but be yourself.
Exactly.
Don't be something that somebody else wanted.
Right? She should have stayed the way she was.
She didn't.
He liked her before she did the makeover thing.
So I love you, John Hughes, but I call a little bit of bullshit on the message.
Just a tiny bit.
The message was not good right here.
Tiny bit.
And that's the movie, guys. It ends right there. We hear the voiceover
from Brian
of Brian writing the letter. Except for this time, we get the last line, which is where we hear the stereotype name for each character.
Yeah, like you see us as you want to see us. So each one of us is a brain, an athlete, a basket case, and a criminal.
Yeah.
And sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Everybody's leaving the building.
Judd Nelson
the
as fist
Bender.
bump.
Yeah, punch in the air.
Punch in the air.
And we close out. We close out with "Don't You Forget About Me."
Right, more of our song. Don't you?
All right, guys. It's been an amazing time.
I've had so much fun doing this. Too much fun, I think.
It's a good movie. We had a great time. We obviously went a little off the rails and lost track a couple times.
It's okay. Everybody has seen this movie to death and knows what we're talking about. And so it's great.
And again, you guys already know how this goes. Chances are, if we get all kinds of twisted and all kinds of messed up, or things go long, it's because the beer was maybe strong.
Yeah, little.
Do you like the rhyming I had there?
That was good.
But yeah, so this beer is definitely strong.
It is.
It's a 8.3, a little bit stronger than we've been doing. Definitely can feel it.
I'm a little drunk.
Yeah, like we already said. Forgive us if things were a little bit off kilter, a little bit weird.
We tried our best.
That being said, this beer
is awesome.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
It's been a while since we've had a stout.
I know. I'm so happy about it. Can we get more of these?
The fact that we both drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, and this is like coffee, so I want to drink it all the time now. I want a pastry. I want like a cinnamon roll with this. Like that's the perfect thing to go with it, is some kind of like apple tart, right? Something with cinnamon.
Some kind of, breakfast.
Yeah, breakfasty pastry thing.
But it was great.
It's fantastic.
So I think that's all we got to say about that. What are we drinking next week, man? We're changing things up a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little. The next week is we're deviating slightly from beer we're going to do a sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist.
Huh.
Now, what possible movie could that
Yeah, what are we going to talk about?
To?
What do you guys think that one connects with?
Right. Let us know in the comments below. Seriously, come on. Let me know. I want to see these guesses.
Yeah, again, we know that there might be some new people. So in case you don't know, that's how we close this out. We close this out. The only clue you have for what we're watching next week, if you want to watch it before we go,
is the drink, and you got to guess and hope you're right.
So it is what it is.
Yep. Sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist.
I think we're done, man. I think that's everything.
All right, good, because I got to go back to detention. I'm still working off that life sentence.
Do I stutter?